Let me keep them away from my. Justification area.
Hold on a minute. I'm gonna remove Twitter. All right. I believe we on. You have your phone?
I do not.
Okay. That's all right.
You told me not. You told me nothing that I needed to bring that. So
okay.
Yeah, it's just me.
All right. Okay, so we're on. Listen, it's been a while, but it's been on and popping in the world of relationships. So, in the world of relationship, especially ADOS, African descendants of slaves, community, black people, Negroes. We didn't have so many names, coloreds, whatever you want to call it. Well, no, not whatever. Oh, I forgot BIPOC. The whole BIPOC thing. Mm-hmm. And it's talking about relationships. And I was on a while back ago, a couple of days ago, regarding, and I took it off. I took it off live because I named names. The internet is not, there's censorship going like nobody's business. And what's interesting is all things that are negative and just asinine towards certain people, it seems to remain and go viral. Mm-hmm. And I just have to speak up. I want to speak to the men. I want to, Elaine, you've been doing a wonderful job.
Wait, hold on. Now carry on.
You've done a wonderful job continuing to talk to the women, and me working, the time in to get in and talk to the men. But it's got to be said, and it's got to be done. No longer are we, can I allow it to continue to be to go unaddressed? I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the algorithm regarding relationships and Negro relationships, Black relationships, BIPOC, ADOS.
And I think that's what it's going to take, babe, and this is just to everyone who feels like, there is a tug in you that it's like there's a feeling of intolerance.
Yeah.
And this is the time for all of us who are feeling like, what, we have got to be the change. We've got to set the standard and to just really call things out, call things to the to the carpet.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're on point, sir.
Yeah. So this is what we're dealing with today. Is this viral video that has gone out regarding 27% of Black women are, only 27% are married. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have this quick message to people who look like me. We got to know who is working best for us. We've got to pay attention to the information that we're given. That's the sad part. I mean, I've even heard a woman from Ghana say that in Ghana, on the continent, that they don't even know their enemy or the person that is opposing and imposing this unfair treatment on them. She says, in the United States, Blacks know their enemy. Yeah. And I don't think we do.
Yeah.
Because we listen to what's being said. Yeah. We listen to these narratives and continue to be programmed in a way that's not conducive for our I hate to say survival, but for us to continue as a people. There is no Black girl magic if there's no Black girls.
Oh, that's good.
There is, I got passionate the last time. I'm trying to restrain myself.
That's why I'm here, for support.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Yes. Because listen, okay, if you're on here, I see we have someone has joined in. I know it's been a while since we've been on, but listen, share this with your friend, because and I need African Americans. I need Black folks on this. I need Black men on this live, or to share this even after we're done with the live. I'm gonna do my best not to be before you long, but I just need to bring this out.
Yeah.
I did a video, and again, I took it down, and it had a lot to do with the fact that I heard something on the radio. And it was interesting that the person who was of the LGBTQ community made an observation, and it was kind of crazy to me that the response he got was visceral, and something that was said about Black relationships is unacceptable to me. The gentleman said he noticed that they were talking about Wicked, the movie Wicked.
Okay.
And he noticed that why is it that all of these LGBTQ, these high-powered LGBTQ people, why are they all with non-Black people?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they in relationships with non-Black people? If you think about it, take the time and go and look, think about it. Who are they in relationships with?
Mm.
Now, I've said this about even the heterosexual.
Okay.
As far as the women in power, when they're in power. A show we used to watch on ABC, Abbott Elementary,
Mm-hmm.
you know, she is married to someone that's not Black, you know. And listen, it's not about that. It's about the fact that somebody married somebody outside their race. For me, it's the agenda, because it seems like all of a sudden every advertising agency got a memo and said, put everything out that is biracial. And it just happens to be biracial with us. Mm-hmm. Now, if you know anything about me, I have family that I love dearly that don't look like me. Mm-hmm. I say, so it's not that. And these people, I will even say as far as my brother, I knew my brother was not going to marry a Black woman. When he grew up and came into adolescence, all he was around was other people. So I didn't expect him to you know, it wasn't even a thought in the mind regarding who he was going to marry. And if you know my brother, for those of you who know, no, he's never married a Black woman. You know, so if it's an organic situation, it is what it is. Right. But it's this agenda. And the thing that I think about is the fact, if you go and Google, that our counterparts are not replacing the dead. They're dead. Mm-hmm. We had the opioid crisis. We had the vaping crisis. You go and look up in Europe, in Italy, folks, they don't even have maternity wards in some hospitals. That was a woman that almost died trying to give birth because she had to drive almost 2-3 hours to get to a maternity ward. You couple that with Bill Gates and his efforts of vaccination on the continent of Africa. And it just so happens to be that the African continent has the largest population of people from 18 to 45. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying this is anything nefarious. I'm just asking questions. I'm just saying, is there a motive for this? Here you have a president in his first go round say, we need people from these other countries, not from these other S-hole countries that happen to look like me countries. I just don't think we're connecting those dots. And again, this is about the agenda. This is not about whether people are good or bad. I just need you to understand. I've said it over and over again that the internet was one of the worst places for Black relationships. True. It is a threat to us because whoever it is that control the algorithms makes sure that content like ours is suppressed. It's not just me. It's the Black Marriage Movement. It's the Black Couple BCM, Black Couple
Yeah. Wanna,
movement or whatnot. Black Love, Black Love Matters. Our website was stifled, was throttled because we had Black Love Matters during the whole George Floyd situation. You can post all of that. You can post all of those things and let those things go viral. But anything good, when I see on the Black Marriage Movement or Black Love Exists, Black Love, I see too many people, too many relationships. We get calls from folks that are looking to better and take their relationship to a different place because we don't have enough. We don't have enough of the imagery there for for folks to see and to continue with.
So is it the the thought process of the people, or what is it that you believe is the main cause for the visceral attack that it seems to be? Or is it an attack, or is it something that's within that we're facing, as far as, because your disdain right now is about relationships primarily, but especially what's being put out and what's being spoken of, as you're saying, is it true that only 27% of Black women are married?
Yes. It is. It is about, why is it that these things can go viral? And it seems like, I'm going to show you a couple of videos, some folks, fair use, just to illustrate what, according to our topic regarding these, whether or not that, and this is what lit my fire. And I'm like, you know what, Elaine, we got some time today. Let's go ahead and do this live. And again, it's just, I could not let it go by or let this this thing happen, because I got daughters. One of the things that they're going to talk about is numbers, and I've seen some of the things that they're going through and what they're dealing with as far as relationships and so on and so forth. And the culture also has shaped some of our thought processes. The culture has. That's why our strive, what we strive for, our mission is to develop a positive relationship culture in our community. Hands down. There is no community without the unity between these, not trying to rhyme or anything, but this unity that we need to have in our relationship. And it just appears to me that there is I won't even say, well, I will say it's a covert, a very covert, not attack, but just covert agenda.
There you go.
That is negative toward people that look like me. I hear it in the music. I'll challenge anybody out here to go and listen to the country music station. Their love music is different. R&B is different than what it was before. The things that are allowed on the radio now is keeping us in a cycle of bad relationships. I posted something not long ago. Actually, it was a little while. About maybe abstinence is the best thing. They're talking about the explosion of HIV. I felt like HIV was spread in another way than what we've always thought, because they really spend a lot of money advertising, go get tested, go get tested, go get tested. So, and my thought process is a little different than most regarding how these things are spreading, coming from a background in pharmacy. So for me, the gender war, I hate the gender war. I have a problem with the fact that we have so many. You got Black men blaming single mothers. You got the single mothers blaming the black men and everything. And if we could understand, if we go about our relationships differently and not allow the music, not allow the media that is put out, social media and all of that to influence our thought processes about who we choose in marriage, who we are dealing with in relationships.
Yeah.
You know, these guys in these OnlyFans pages, bruh. Come on. I mean, there's some discipline that we have to have. There is some, and it's getting in the way of you choosing your one. Y'all are sleeping on some good women that may not look like the Instagram model. And I ain't even talking about something far-fetched. That's just folks that you just not paying attention to.
Yeah.
That's right there in your face or whatnot. But let's get into it.
And,
go ahead.
And real quick, and salute, is that Nada 86? Salute as well. You know, but I think it's always going to be a pointing of the finger. Yeah. It's been happening since the beginning of time.
Yep.
And so until we learn as a people, until we recognize that there is an agenda, there has been an agenda forever. And that agenda has caused us to be where we are, and we've been blaming each other. And it's not until we get passionate enough, I'll say that word, to where we're not just going to accept what the mass media, what the music industry, what all these things are being placed in our hands now. So we don't have to wait for somebody to approve of us on the standpoint of, you know, what is it that you see and that you know that is right. And, you know, when you are able to live that example and be that example, then you're able to speak on what can change and be that change, but stop blaming each other. That's the whole thing that they're throwing out to us. And we keep taking the bait. We keep taking the bait of what statistics say. And who's behind the statistics? Who is doing the study? And so some of this we have to just really recognize that, and I think this is the heart of what you're saying, is, you know, that's the passion that you're coming from, is, you know, at some point we got to get tired. At some point we got to wake up. At some point you got to grow up a bit, and to say that that this is bigger than us. What is it that is actually happening behind the scenes? There's always an undercurrent in relationships, in businesses, in people. There's something that's deeper, and we have to be able to say there's something that's deeper here. So why am I always looking at my brother with a side eye? Well, one of the things is that this is scriptural. Okay, it's biblical, but there's the place where we have to again wake up. And I want to say this too, because you speak of it so well, is that I don't want to at all give too much play to the enemy or the opposer, because we know that, you know, there is an opposer to everything that is good. Whatever the Father has created that is good and put his stamp of approval on and said it's good, there is an opposer to that. I don't want because I heard you say this to other young women, other older women, you know, your encouragement was like, don't get beside yourself. Don't feel like you're left out when you're not in a relationship. Don't feel like you're missing out, the FOMO, because some of it, you're being preserved. I love how you express that. You know, some of it, until there is a level of growth, and until messages like with passion of more men like you, who are able to say, hey, enough is enough. And more women like me can say, yeah, enough is enough. We've got to be the change, you know? And so I think until, you know, as that continues to happen, because I don't think it isn't until, but you get what I'm saying? It's like, it's happening, and we may not see it fully, but it is promised to us that it's the change shall come. But we are feeling what we're feeling because this is the time and the season that this has to be expressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like now, and that's what I was talking to some of the women about this past week, is like, it's a sense of urgency. It's like, I got to shake you up a bit. Somebody had to shake me up a bit, right? We've got to shake each other up a bit, because we've become so complacent to this idea that there's only 27% of Black women married. We've become believers of the things that have limited us, of the limits that they put on us, and not being able to see that there is something behind the scenes
that's working. How in the world is it that we're still minorities as numerically, when Time Magazine, they scrubbed that from the internet, that Hispanics have outbirthed our counterparts by 5.5, and we've outbirthed them by 2.5. How is it that we numerically, you can lock us up as much as you want to? How is it? But anyway, let me. I'm going to share just a little bit of this video of what this young lady said, and this is going viral.
Once again,
another tired situation.
And look at me, I put my lookers on. Aren't you proud of me?
Yeah, you're doing good. Accepting the fact.
26% of Black women today in America, at least, are married. 26%. There's a reason for that, and it goes down to perceptions we have about marriage. Submission is seen as, the submission is seen as some old patriarchal, domineering, disrespectful, oppressive idea. So they get in these marriages and they want to box with their husbands as soon as they don't agree. They don't.
Real quick about the submission piece, y'all. Something you got to understand about the submission piece, that this thing on submission, you got to realize who had those letters in their hand. And I'm not going to go into a whole Bible study or Bible history, but that submission is not what you think. And it's been propagated over the years. Like she said, as far as patriarchal and so on and so forth, all these things have been, if you read the front of the book, you'll recognize that women had a level of autonomy even in relationships. If you go all the way to the beginning of the book, in Genesis, the first chapter, he gave them dominion. All of this gender war that we're dealing with has everything to do with Genesis 3, when the man treated the woman like an animal and gave her a name. You've had a lot of your preachers and all of these things have said, and kudos, don't feel like it's nefarious for what they chose to share. But what has happened is they've said that, see, God called the man. He didn't call the woman. Well, yes, he did. Both of their names were Adam.
Yeah.
They were Adam. Both had the message that, hey, you don't do this.
So the responsibility was on
both of them. It was on both of them.
Isn't that much like it is today?
If we can recognize the children that we're raising today, it's funny how talk about the Gen Xers, talking about the millennials and the Gen Zs. You're the one that raised them, so stop talking about it.
Ouch.
Let's stop talking about it. We don't right now. We don't have we don't have the luxury as a people. If we're going to continue on the planet. Now, I know we have promises that we are going to continue on the planet no matter what. But if we're going to continue on the planet, we can't be separate. Yeah, I said it, can't. We cannot be separate, whether it be your mosque, your assembly, your church, your denomination, all of these different things. No, we can't be that no more. We can't be that anymore. Separated into your little sects. I'm Mason. I'm of this fraternity. I'm of that sorority. I'm of this or that. No, we don't have the opportunity. We don't have that kind of time
to compete with one another. And
no, because when they're talking about the economy, they say the Black economy. They didn't say this particular group economy. They didn't say the Black Christian economy. They didn't say the Black Muslim economy. They didn't say the Black spiritual economy. They didn't say none of that. They just say the Black economy, treating you like a nation. So what you got to do is act like one.
That's good.
You go back to this.
Don't want to yield. They want to do their own thing. They want to remain single in marriage. And that doesn't work very well. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, no man wants to feel like they're married to somebody who's competitive or who's their competition.
Overgeneralizations.
And that's what this is looking like. It looks really bad. It's really bad. Okay, so now I want to bring up, to continue this point, I want to bring up another clip that I saw of her giving advice to the younger generation. Then we're going to break that down.
Okay, so this is the one that the young lady said, and you know, when you go in and look at Black marriage statistics and so on and so forth, you know, it is interesting to say the least.
And see where I am obviously married, and so I never want to make like there is not an issue, because we know that there's a, you know, there's a huge problem.
Sorry.
I think one of the things that for me I see where it's like there's this place in us where we have, you know, we have accepted the scarcity mindset. And I'm sorry, but the more the media has shown that, you know, men are no good, there's, you know, so many that's in, you know, prison, they're low down or down low, either whichever way you want to, spin the wheel. You know, that they're terrible fathers, that they're, you know, they don't want to work. And I know there's a level of truth there. I know. I agree. I believe there is an issue there. However, we have accepted so much of this, like what the original, I think the original, when you talked to me about it, it was another woman that was talking about this. Was a study that was done back in 15 years ago on one of the major networks, and it has come up and surfaced again. And now that it's surfaced again, now the numbers are even more bleak. And I see the issues, but I also see the promises. I also see that there are men every day who are still, they're not leaving the house going to go buy bread. And those of us who know, we know what that means. You know, when a man says, you know, I'm going to go buy bread, we remember good times when James' dad, you know, he said, well, man, you went and left, bought bread and you never came back. Right. But there are men who I know, and I see them, who are coming home every day to their families. I see the most loving, kind fathers who are disciplining their children, correcting their children, chastising their children, but also giving them hugs, loving them. I love following this. There's another father who is working with his son, who is, you know, teaching him how to walk, because he's, you know, had some type of accident or something like that. And the love that you see in this, as a father who is a Black man, so-called Black, you know, that's a whole another rabbit hole to go down, but I see that. And I know that there are more of them in my neighborhood alone. I'm sorry, as much as we want to say the hoods, but you got in the hoods, you got some fathers who are still taking their children and they're pushing them on the bicycle. They're running behind the bicycle, helping them to learn how to take the training wheels off. They exist. We were there.
My study while in school.
We were one of those families.
Right. Folks was like,
know,
he walking his dogs with a retractable leash. Like, what in the world? An American boxer and a Chihuahua.
Yes. Hey, Michelle.
With his whole family. Yes.
Yeah.
It's, you know, that's the thing, but that don't get that's not publicized. That's not on the news.
But
that's
the problems
not out
are,
there.
The issues are the ones.
The issues are the only thing that gets. So Savvy Sabs talked about this a bit. Let me play a little of this video for you
is going viral on X. And she is asking, why is it that only 27% of Black women are married in America? Now, people have come up with all different types of reasons, and I will show you an expose that I saw years ago on ABC, where they spoke to Black women who were professionals who were struggling, I guess, to find, a husband. And even though that was years ago, I'm going to show you that just to show you how, once again, this subject has come back up again in the US. And at the end of the day, I'm going to tie it all to math, because I think for one, don't believe that men are just sitting back and they're like, I do not find Black women physically attractive. Everybody has like their type, right? But I don't like that. I haven't had that experience. I don't think that's what this is really about. I think a lot of this comes to basic math. Now, this is the video that is going viral. We're going to go ahead and bring it in here, because once again, this subject is back in the headlines.
26% of Black women today in America, at least, are married. 26%. There's a reason for that. And it goes down to perceptions we have about marriage. Submission is seen as, submission is seen as some old patriarchal, domineering, disrespectful, oppressive.
We just played that video. So
now this is like over what, 15, I think, or 15 years ago? 42% of Black women are unmarried. Check this out.
It's just not that easy. For starters, there are more Black women than Black men, 1.8 million more. So even if every Black man in America married a Black woman today, 1 out of 12 still wouldn't make.
Now, what I'm going to do is I want you to pay attention to the narrative at the end of this. There's a narrative that's being posted. This is talking about the pain point.
Yeah.
And they're going to give you the solution. Their solution.
Take it down the aisle. Let's take 100 Black men. If you eliminate those without a high school diploma, those without a job, and the number of Black men between the ages of 25 and 34 who are incarcerated, that leaves only about half of Black men eligible to pop the question.
Let's go back to those numbers. Now, this was 15 years ago. And this is what I've been trying to explain to people. If you go back to what I said before, right, that
half of Black men,
54% eligible. So if you go back to what I said in the beginning, that Black women, most Black women are more likely to marry a Black man. Okay. Now think about the numbers that they just gave you. So this is including, there's more Black women than there are Black men. Then you have to remove those who are already married, those who are already taken. Don't forget the prison, the prison and industrial complex. I've talked about this before on the show, the school to prison pipeline. So that's two. Some people marry people in prison, but most people don't. Let's just be real. Then you have to think about those who just don't want to be married and they want to be bachelors like forevers. It is what it is. That's 3. Then you also have to remove those who are not straight. Like, so you have to remove Black men that are LGBTQ, right? So the number.
Okay. So right quick, you can see her video. You can see where she, go and view that video to see the rest of what she's talking about. And it talks about there, I know we're in the more than 30 minutes, but you can go and see what's really going on. At the end of that, they're going to introduce the interracial marriage. Now, when I look at, I don't know if you've seen the video where these billionaires, 2 billionaires, are talking to 3 young Black women because they know that they have the Eve gene. They know that Black women hold something that is desirable, and they were willing to pay, was it $75,000? And the girls was like, wait a minute, you offering us just $75,000? How much you gonna make? And it's true.
That's what we got to start asking the questions.
Hila Sales. If you're not familiar with the Hila Sales are from Henrietta Lacks, her sales are still alive to this day. To this day.
Yeah, Michelle says that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. You have so many uh, medical breakthroughs that have happened because of her sales. And these guys are offering. So I want to speak to the black men. We got to get it together. We got to get it together. You tapping this, and just smashing, just enjoying, and then you're going to talk about their body count when you were a part of somebody's body count. Game over, bro. Game over. Game over. It's time for you to think about your posterity. Our posterity is our prosperity. I don't care what kind of bag you got. Who you going to leave it to?
That's good.
That goes to that other situation that's going on that done went viral. And it seems, and this is why I say it's gotta be an agenda, because these things just coming up all at the same time. Like she just mentioned, 15 years ago they were talking about this thing, and now they're bringing it back up again.
Yeah.
This guy's talking about the NBA players, talking about why they marry white women. The guy on the morning show was sharing that it's the forbidden fruit and all of that. Yeah, whatever. I tend to go with Cat Williams. Call me crazy if you want to. But if you go back into, he warned him. He warned Shannon Sharpe. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with other women. Just stick with what you got. Stick with what, get with what's there.
Stick with the prize that you have.
You got
the benefit that you have, because it's not like a settling. Like, because, we have to see the value in who we are and who we are, as they say, the God nature, or that it is, or the Yah, that it is in each other. We have to be able to see and recognize that. And not looking at it like it's just stay with where you at. Stay with what you're used to. Stay with what's, it's not in that term. And I know that's not what you're speaking of it from, but I know it can be like, I want to try something different. No, there is something about the value in, and that other cultures, other nations of people, they don't look at it like the way that we do. We're so open. We're so forgiving. We're so, and it's a beautiful thing, but it has also cursed us.
When everybody else is closed, we are just open. We're just open for to be ran through. Other people have these conversations in their families, and for us to even have to, we're not, and we have to do extra to make it, palatable or whatnot. But others, they don't do that. Mm-mm. They don't do that.
Cut and dry.
Cut and dry. This is
what we do.
This is what we do.
This is what we don't do.
And this is where it's at.
And this is why.
And so with that, I won't discuss any other things as far as plans or things that we're going to do, because this is on the internet. And there are things that we have to recognize, that instead of playing the part. For instance, Sanders' son, Primetime, his son got drafted in the way down 54th or 53rd something round or whatever, and everybody's in an uproar over that. In an uproar for that, they just reminding you and putting you back in your place. We got to make our own table. We do. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. We have allies, cool beans. But listen, to continue to beg and continue to be a part of where they, this black fragility thing that's going on, you know, even with the George Floyd thing, it was a twofold thing. Yeah, it brought awareness, but you know what? It made it look like one of the things that was left up on the internet was other nationalities with their knee on the neck of someone. If you didn't see it, you should go and just check and look to see, you know, if they hadn't scrubbed it from the internet. But yeah, they had that. They had that. So it's a twofold thing. I like Dr. DeGroot. When Dr. DeGroot talks about those pictures of the hanging men, she said, you got to look beyond the hanging man. And you need to look at that little girl that's smiling in that picture and know that that little child is still alive. Grown woman. What kind of impact did that have on her? You know, it's just interesting to me to see these things play out. If you sleep, all I can say is wake up, and pay attention to what's going on around you.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what's going on around you. These things that are going on, everybody talking about Project 25 and everything. Do you know those same people that were the sponsors of that Project 25? They sponsored they endorsed the other candidate too. Mm-hmm. They endorsed the other candidate. See, this political thing that we got going on too. We don't have the luxury. Because now they're saying there's martial law like efforts in the Black communities now. So we've got to do something and pay attention to what is not good for our legacy, our posterity. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you take up arms and go and do nothing. No, keep your thing in your pants. Keep your gold bar to yourself.
Start there. Huh?
Start there. And I ain't even talking to the women. Because if the men get situated,
yeah.
Well, she gonna rape you? They probably gonna flag it with me saying that. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Starting with you, guys. All bets are off. Mm-hmm. You out here smashing. You out here in the grocery store, filling on all everybody else's produce. Eating the grapes before you get to the restaurant. You ain't even trying to buy. You in the store and ain't even shopping. Well, sit down somewhere. Now, this is the sweet tea. This ain't the healed our relationship piece. This is the low down gritty. I'm sorry, it's got to be like that. But this is what's got to. I'm just sounding the alarm, giving the clarion call for men to be men, for you to be disciplined and stop blaming the women for as far as raising the kids. Well, the daddy, yeah, and I know that some women have kept the children from them. I know. Listen, we're a blended family. They have done that when the child support wasn't seeing nobody. Yeah. I've been there. No excuses. I wrote letters. That's what I did. I wrote letters so that when my child was old enough, I sent one to the house and I sent one to myself. Beautiful. So that when she got of age and she had those questions about what happened to me during this time, I gave her those letters with the postmark on them.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So be disciplined, brothers. Let's not keep making the same old mistake.
I was just gonna say,
sticking and moving, sticking and moving.
Choose time for us to learn.
Yeah, learn. You done seen everybody. You done seen. We had the Kevin Samuels situation that going on. That was some things that he said that was decent, but your delivery, it's like what the brother said the other day from the Cosby Show when Vanessa came home with that older man. He said, your favorite meal, and it's a good meal, but you're serving it on a trash lid, a trash can lid. See, come on. It was more damage done than a little bit because it emboldened guys who weren't disciplined, who had these thought processes, to go out and continue to judge women. If you don't want them, stop fooling with them. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
Because truth be told, the one you messing with that ain't yours, somebody over there messing with what is yours.
Thanks.
So let's develop a culture of leaving other folks, people alone. I'm not talking about anybody that ain't yours that you hadn't committed to yet. Don't be trying to get in bed with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's where your wealth. We losing wealth because of all of these different families, and the states are getting rich off of your child support. They don't care nothing about the family.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. They gonna get that money, and let that money sit in the bank.
True.
Let it draw interest.
And there's so many directions that we can go with this conversation.
Yes.
So what's your encouragement?
Well, just that. Keep your thing to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a married man, stay with the one you got.
Mm-hmm.
Work out whatever you got to work out. If you're ready to leave, and if you're a believer, if you read the scriptures, and you're a man that want to leave, go read Hosea before you leave. Go read Hosea. If you're dedicated to the Father, if you're dedicated to the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, if that's who you're dedicated to, go read Hosea before you make a move.
Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. And I'll just add, it's a lot of the conversations that I've had lately, especially with the women, because, Eric was speaking to the men. I speak to the women, and I've been speaking to them about, it's important. I love this thing that I saw where Willie Moore Jr. said, Willie Moe Jr. I don't remember, it was what show he was on, another podcast, but he was saying, and I've been talking about this as well, is that it's important to not just look at what you're chasing, but to look at who's and what's chasing you, because much of this is a bloodline issue. And I don't care how we take a look into what is happening in our culture, in our world, in our families, we've got to know that it's deeper than what we see on the surface. And you've got to know that some of these things are bloodline issues in our families. And we've got to be the ones to say that, hey, I'm going to be the one that's going to really bridge this gap that this hole was left, where things were left undone by my mom, my dad, mm-hmm. my grandmama and granddaddy, my aunts and my uncles. We've got to be the ones to say, I'll do something different. It's going to cause me, some pain to do this, to stand up in these areas. And only you know what that area is, but we're calling those who are feeling this tug in you, that's saying about relationships, stand up, be the positive change in relationships, be that, and then show it, teach it, and exemplify it. This is the only way we're going to see the change. But look at your bloodline. Mm-hmm. Just start there too.
We can talk about generational curses and all this other stuff, but continue to perpetuate that generational curse.
Yeah.
It's going to take some courage to continue.
That's good, baby.
Now, you've been blood bought. Now it's time for you to walk that thing out. What James say? I show you my faith by what I do. Faith without works is dead.
It's dead. It means nothing.
Hands down.
Yeah.
So what are y'all's thoughts? Let us know in the comments what your thought process is. I'll go in and edit and put the links to the different videos that we've shared, that we've talked about. So for context. But yeah, let us know what your thoughts are in the comments. All right. With that, we're going to surrender the rest of your Sunday afternoon.
Yes. Peace.
And multiply blessings. See y'all later.
Later.